ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. After a fruitful two-day forum, we will now proceed to the closing plenary, where we summarize the key takeaway from this two-day forum. The moderator for the session is Dr. Kenny Huang, member of the board and CEO of TWNIC. Dr. Huang, the floor is yours.
Okay, right. Okay, so again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And thank you for all your participation. That's my tradition, because usually international conference will require people from different places of the world. So that's one of the protocol. And first, thank you for all your participation. And as the previous section mentioned, actually you already spent your time with us. I think I appreciate. Most of the people appreciate for your spending time and spare with us. And we have 2 days very fruitful and very productive discussion. And some of the issues remain actually, and some of the issues we figure out how to explore to the next stage. So I'd like to pass to the other panelists because they have been sharing different kind of section, and they can quickly summarize what has been discovered during the section. I starting from, do we have sequence order? From Joy? Okay, starting from Joy, sorry.
Okay, this is Joy, and I was very honored to be the moderator for the Cooperation SIG. It's a special interest group, obviously for cooperation, and as well as for the different broader internet topics. In the past, when we were at the APNIC, we touched on the different topics: internet jurisdiction, cybersecurity, the cyber norms, and this time our theme is on the digital transformation, and I'm very happy and honored to have a wonderful panel of speakers. So the highlight to take away is that we have Jia Rong, of course, representing ICANN. He talked about the APAC space. It's a widen of the network and engaging with ICANN. So I think that kind of like tying to the last session where Guowei was mentioned about how to participate into the ICANN. Nicole, my wonderful speaker as a vice chairperson for the Digital Transformation Association, she was sharing about the paradigm shift and the benefit of digital transformation, the development of digital transformation. I think one of the things that my takeaway, which was very impressed, was that the Digital Transformation Index, because we talk about it, but we never really know exactly how to measure and how well we are doing. So that's something I think is really a big takeaway. And then the gear switch to Prabal, who mentioned from the APNIC. Again, the importance of the cooperation SIG as a platform for people to share the experience and working with each other. I think that's really the true spirits of the cooperation. And then I had Julia, who is the engineering VP. So from the technical point of view, how she sees the strategic adoption for the digital technology, because we all know that the digital transformation is not just about the technology, it's about the people, the process, and everything else. And then we closed with Daphne. Daphne is the country manager from Cookpad. But earlier, when she was a startup, she actually bought Uber and Uber Eats to Taiwan. So I think we have a very broad panels that talking about something from the higher as a bird's eye to the very down to the earth, the real experience happening here in Taiwan. What I am mentioning about the summary is that really everybody is asking, so what's the next in your organization that encourage all the digital transformation, for example, of the changes, the action, and collect more data, because that's where the basic is. And that's my thanks to all the panelists on the stage. And I think I'm very, very proud to say that from this picture that you can see that we have two speakers from aboard. And here locally that we have 3 speakers plus myself. And it's a very gender diverse panels. And I like that very much. Thank you, Kenny.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. And then I move to the next one will be Edmund Zhang. Would you like to give us some feedback and summarize?
Sure. Thank you, Kenny, and thank you again for having me. And quite excited to have moderated the plenary 2 session on domain name abuse. And I guess just reporting back there, we had a very good group of speakers. I'll just jump through them, just like Joy did just now. We had an intervention from Thomas Cooper, who's from the registrar side, to talk about the domain name dispute, domain name abuse situation. Overall, I think this is I guess, a different dimension of cybersecurity, but it touches on a lot of abuse issues, but also with the DNS and also beyond the DNS, and how different stakeholders need to play a role. Of course, he emphasized on the registrar side, but also how what we can do together to make it a more user-centric approach. Then we had intervention from Crystal Peterson from GoDaddy Registry. Her intervention was very focused on how the GTLD registry, especially, although GoDaddy also runs some CCTLDs, but a little bit more on the GTLDs, how it responds to some of the ICANN requirements, and then also beyond ICANN requirements, and how some of I think the emphasis on volunteer commitments from registries is an important part of tackling domain name abuse. Then we had a very good presentation from Kiran Sangera from the Hong Kong International Arbitration Center, focused on UDRP, really the oldest consensus policy that ICANN has put together, and I think it continues to be a successful example of ICANN multi-stakeholder model and approach. So she talked about how the UDRP is implemented, and it's creating value for trademark owners and so on, and some of the work at HAIAC that they're seeing, and what kind of the process of if there are disputes, how to bring about it, and how they manage the process. Then we had a presentation from Henry Tsai from Taiwan, a division chief judge from the Shilin District Court. Very interesting perspective from the court's perspective, rather than from, I guess, usually when we talk about the community, from the court's perspective and the judge's perspective, looking back at some of the policies at ICANN, also touching on concepts of cyber sovereignty, the difference between multilateralism and multi-stakeholderism, and some of the issues, or actually some of his suggestions for the ICANN community to really work on collaborating in attacking the DNS abuse and domain abuse and other types of abuse that happens on the internet. And then finally, we had Jamie Headland from the contractual compliance from ICANN join us, and he mentioned about the audits and the enforcement processes for that are at ICANN on the topic of domain name dispute, domain name abuse, and just I guess provide a little bit of the statistics. I think it paints a little bit of a picture, as in even though we know that there are abuse that's happening, I think overall registries and registrars have been responding in reasonable fashion, even if some of the compliance issues that were identified were remediated. So that's I think a positive sign. What was one of the highlights of the session is an intervention from a remote participant, I think from India. I'm guessing was from India, a person named Roy. really talking about some of the issues that I think this forum is about, which is to he ran into a situation with the UDRP, the Domain Dispute Resolution Process, and felt that the very U.S.-centric situation with ICANN has been a huge challenge for him. And brought out some of his experience, and I think that I guess really dovetails into the session itself, but also generally this event in terms of getting more participation from the Asia Pacific and getting more voices from the Asia Pacific to be at and participate at the ICANN processes. That's the little roundup from my session.
Okay, right. Thank you, Eamon. And okay, Pablo, you will be the next one.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here with you today. I will give an overall impression of the event, if I may. Firstly, we are very honored in EPINIC to have taken part in this event. 8 staff members of EPINIC from different areas and expertise took part in different sessions as moderators and speakers. So for us, it was a very important event to connect with stakeholders in Taiwan and with the rest of the world, and hope we offered good value and good content as well. I think there are 2 key parts of this event. One is the engagement forum, and the other part is the open policy meeting. And both parts, I think, work very well together. So let's start to talk about the engagement forum. It was a hybrid event, one of the best I've seen so far. It was very successful. Kudos to the event organizers for the seamless video integration with the room at the Howard Plaza Hotel in Taipei with an active physical audience, and also integrated with speakers from all over the world. It shows commitment to the wider internet ecosystem around the world from TWNIC and from the Taiwanese community. The engagement forum also showed something very important, which is the beautiful synergy between names and numbers. The TW domain name, the ICANN community, the IP addressing community, and the wider community. So there was a really beautiful global, regional, local integration, and I think that was a key highlight of the event. Also, the importance of touching on trending topics. There was a lot on security, digital transformation, internet governance, regulating tech platforms. I found this to be sort of a very good perspective, which was broad, but at the same time touches on the key trending topics. Secondly, let's talk about the OPM part, the open policy meeting. And this is the part that calls for action, where there is a promotion of the Taiwanese community involvement to take part on decision-making processes, to shape internet governance and policies at ICANN, at EPINIC, and within Taiwan as well. So I think this is the key takeaway. I hope that this event has helped more people in Taiwan to get interested and involved in policy making, because you have the right and the opportunity to be part to shape the internet governance. So it is for me something very special. I am at home right now. I have my 2 beautiful girls here with me, and it is very strange to be just at home on a Friday evening and share this with you in this hybrid model. So this is Sophia and this is Julia, and I was so happy to take part of this event and EPINIC as well. So I hope to see you in person soon. And thank you again for inviting us.
Thank you, Pablo. You really give us a very very new experience to have a hybrid model, working with the community member and also working with their family as well. Anyway, the next one, Jiarong, your turn.
Thank you. So for me, basically, I moderated the session on cybersecurity plenary 1 on adopting important technologies. But before that, as the person looking after the ICANN Asia Pacific office, taking this opportunity again to thank you, Kenny, for your leadership and partnership for organizing this event. It has been a challenge for both of us over the course of 1 year. When the pandemic hit last year, we had already blocked the venue, blocked the dates. Then the pandemic hit us. Then we had to think, okay, what do we do, right? So behind the scenes, we had various conversations about, okay, let's push this back a few months first. Then a few months happened. Then we were like, okay, it's not changing. So we pushed this back a few months later. And we pushed the whole event back by 1 whole year. But eventually, we got this going in a hybrid format. And, there's been a lot of feedback over the past year with people working from home about Zoom fatigue, about attending meetings. But I think the hybrid format for us for this particular event has been a refreshing way of organizing events. So I want to congratulate you, Kenny, and your team, specifically Anthony and others, for really working with us very closely to do this. Also want to do a shout out for my team members, specifically Sabrina Lim, whom we won't see very much here, but she's been behind the scenes, making sure everything's working. So a big shout out for her for being our project manager for this event. So a big thank you again. Now coming back to takeaways, the two parts, I think, one is the overall in terms of the event. I like the broad discussions. I think it's important for us to note that even though this is like a supposedly ICANN co-hosted event with TWNIC, but the conversation doesn't revolve just around the ICANN topics. So like Pablo mentioned, the broader internet governance conversation goes hand in hand intrinsically with all of us. And I think that's a very important theme for us as a takeaway. And one doesn't just need to say, oh yeah, I'm interested in just ICANN. I'm not interested in anything else. Or like one can say, oh, I'm a numbers person. I'm interested in IP addresses, but nothing else. But actually they cross-cut each other very, very closely. And I think that aspect is very important for us as part of the larger internet governance community. Now, I use that as a segue to tie into one of the key takeaways from the cybersecurity plenary on adopting important technologies. So the context for my session was largely on some technologies which the unique identifier community has been trying to push, like DNS security, DNSSEC, IP version 6, RPKI, and ROA. And some have met with success and some have met with pretty much limited success. And the broader question has always been that of demand and supply, that of economics. If my customers ask for DNSSEC, then I will provide it. If my customers ask for IPv6, then I will provide it. So there is that broader aspect of it when it comes to cybersecurity. But on the other hand, a very good point which Kenny made was that as an internet governance organization for TWNIC, they have an obligation to adopt and to promote the latest and most important internet standards. I think that's a very important point to look at, albeit from TWNIC, maybe, the structure of the organization and the nature of the organization allows you to look at it from this perspective. But against the larger theme of having a shared responsibility towards cybersecurity. And cybersecurity is that it has many layers. So every layer needs to have cybersecurity done and factored in for us to make sure that the user experience can be seamless. So we cannot just say, oh yeah, I only want to do this because somebody asked me for it, or I only want to do that because somebody asked me for it. I think that perspective of having a shared responsibility towards cybersecurity and delivering the larger internet ecosystem for the end user is very important. Be it we are a CTLD, a network operator, or ISP, or even an application platform, a service provider. So I think that kind of perspective is important for us to take away as a group and think about how can we help to propagate this message even further. So I think for me, that really is a very key takeaway for the cybersecurity plenary. And I'm hoping that as a takeaway for us as a group here is how can we help each other further to spread the message. That's it from me.
Thank you, Jaro. And I think that's a very, very valuable input and takeaway as well. And we're already running out of panelists. Okay, go away, your last one.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a very interesting question, just like Jialong mentioned about this hybrid. Actually, I think it's today or yesterday, I asked in the TWNIC people, employee, and say how this hybrid meeting is doing well, or how many people online, and link to this TWNIC ICANN APAC meeting. It surprised me is the TWNIC employee told me is more than 700 plus, more than 700 link to this the TWNIC and APNIC APAC meeting. And I think the people began to get used of this kind of the hybrid meeting. Eventually, I think that more and more people would join the meeting is not that difficult. You don't necessarily go into face to face or buying the airline ticket and fly there. It's easier to just link and connect your computer on. Okay, and back to my session. My session actually is just try to, from the multi-stakeholder. I think from yesterday to today, I think the people talking about a multi-stakeholder mechanism. But in my session, I just try to use in the ICANN as an example. And so invite a different kind of stakeholder to explain to the people how each stakeholder's function is and how you can participate as a stakeholder. And the most important is I think as Akinori and Mary mentioned about, is we need more people from Asia Pacific region, not only to participate in the APEC meeting, also participate in the APNIC meeting, participate with the ICANN meeting. So I think that is my purpose of that. And in my session, basically, we have 6 speakers. And it's kind of interesting. It's a 6 speaker. We have 4 female and 2 male. So we are quite definitely doing very well in the gender balance. And the first is I asked Akinori to telling the people what is the ICANN board member function is, and also how you can apply and to be the ICANN board member. And the last one is also asking Akinori is how much passion and also how much time you need to contribute, participate as an ICANN board member. And I think the Akinori is mentioned about one thing is very interesting is if you want to participate as the ICANN board member, the biggest challenge is in the time lag, because always you need to have a meeting in the midnight or sometime in the early morning or that kind of the situation. And next one, I actually is as Nicole Chen, and she tried to telling the people is how to participate in the ASO and how to be, participate as a registry, like a DASIA, and then how often the ASO meeting is running, how much you need to participate and how you can join the ASO meeting or something like that. And the next one, I asked Joy Chen to help me to, to tell the people is a CCNSO, as a CCTOD operator, and then what is their function and how they do that and how often the meeting will go on. And also, thanks for the government officer, Mr. Lin, is willing to share in the people about what is GAC doing in the ICANN, and the Government Advisory Committee is the function is a little bit. I'm not really agree is the Government Advisory Committee is not police, basically, it's just one of the stakeholder, a very special stakeholder, But in the multi-stakeholder, I think there is not police, But somehow, is thanks for the government coming to sharing the experience as a GAC. And then thanks for the Manru, he is talking about how to participate as a GNSO, as a non-commercial section. And this, as a Manju tell you, you can just go to the ICANN non-com website and just fill the form, and very easy they are going to review and then ask a few questions, and then you'll be a member of the non-commercial. And the last one, I asked the Mary Wong, and Mary Wong right now is ICANN employee, and just I think the Mary is doing a wonderful job. The most important thing in my session is just telling the people to come into the Internet Governance event, the international fora, no matter is ICANN, APNIC, or TWNIC meeting is so easy and choose so interesting you can come. Even you don't have a lot of time, but you can pick one of the interesting topic you like it, and that just join us. And so I think there's just a little bit quick summary of what is my session is doing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Go-Wei. I think that's we already run all the section. Okay, thank you. I think this kind of conference and this kind of meeting is quite special experience for all of us because we are running a hybrid model, and we have quite a lot of participants from online, and actually we still have quite tremendous participants on site as well. So that's very, very strange experience. Actually, I just tell one thing. Yesterday I was here and participate in the meeting and also chairing the ICANN CCPDP meeting as well. So things cannot be done without that kind of model. But anyway, we don't know whether we can continue this kind of model until when. But one thing just want to people from remote side let you know, because for this kind of webinar-based model versus seminar-based model, one thing is quite different. You couldn't feel the food in Taipei. Actually, the food is quite delicious in Taipei. I'm sorry, you lose the opportunity to be here. I hope next time you have the opportunity to come to Taipei and enjoy the decent food, local dessert. Local dessert is wonderful. So I think it's time to the flow as well. If you have anything you want to share, any feedback, any recommendation, please go to the mic. Tell us your name, or you have affiliation, tell us your affiliation. So the time is yours. Okay, no one queue up in the mic. Okay, I think it's pretty much, we already finished everything. Before closing, I'd like to take the final opportunity to thank a lot of people, a lot of organizations, starting from ICANN APAC office, especially Jaron and Sabrina. You spend a lot of effort in helping us to facilitate, to organize this event. And also like to thank APNIC as well, Pablo and Paul Wilson. And you also spend a lot of time to discuss with us what to facilitate the IP address, how to address the cybersecurity issue. And another one is .Asia as well, Eamon John. And especially I'd like to thank .Asia because .Asia spends so much effort to encourage young people participate in internet governance region. So I think we have running the internet governance campaign or capacity building program every year. Also thanks to Asia. Every time you bring your skilled people come here to Taiwan to train the young people, that's really helpful. And also like to take this chance to thank the supporting staff from TWNIC as well, and all our sponsor organization, and also, of course, everyone sit here on site or online. Thank you for spending your time to be here with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Huang, for moderating this closing plenary, and thank you to all panelists for sharing your insights and for summarizing the key takeaways for us. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the second ICANN APAC TWNIC Engagement Forum. Your feedback and support is highly appreciated. Thank you very much for your participation. We wish you great health and prosperity, and we hope to see those of you who are joining us online very soon in the near future in person. Thank you very much.